Welcome back. My name is Dak. Today we are reading the Boy Scout Handbook, 11th edition. We're on Chapter 10, Cooking. All right, time to start thinking about eating. A lot of young men actually enjoy this part. It was probably like one of the best parts of all of it, just having some good food. So let's dig into it. Chapter 10, Cooking. A patrol cooking its own meals is playing one of the most fascinating games in scouting. Handbook for Boys, 5th edition, 1948. As dawn breaks over the mountains, the first sound you hear might be the sizzle of bacon and eggs over a backpacking stove. At night, under a dining fly, rattling with rain, the smell of baking bread can make your mouth water. At the end of a long day on the trail, how about digging into a big helping of stew, a couple of fresh hot biscuits, and a bowl of wild blueberries? In the middle of a winter hike, why not pour yourself a steaming mug of cocoa or a cup of rich, thick soup? Food in the outdoors is more than just a way to cut your hunger. It powers your body through days packed with action. It helps you stay warm at night. When the sky turns stormy or when you're tired and feeling low, a hearty meal will cheer you up and energize you to do whatever needs doing. Get a feel for mixing ingredients, handling pots and pans, and judging when a dish is done by helping to prepare family-friendly meals at home. Learn to cook in your own kitchen, and you will find it easy to cook on the trail. A key to no-trace camping is knowing when it's all right to light a fire and when it is better to use a stove. Using campfires and lightweight stove. Many scouts use lightweight stoves on all their camping trips. Stoves are clean, quick to heat water and food, and easy to light in any weather. Best of all, they leave no marks on the land. A stove in your pack can make it simpler for you to camp without leaving a trace. Fires have their place too. A fire can warm you, cook your food, and dry your clothes. Bright flames can lift your spirits on a rainy morning. At night, glowing embers can stir your imagination. A good scout knows how to build a fire, especially in an emergency. He also knows that there are often reasons why he should not light one. Campfires can char the ground, blacken rocks, and sterilize soil. Vegetation can have a hard time growing again where a fire has been. Fires consume dead branches, bark, and other organic material that would have provided shelter and food for animals and plants. Where hiking and camping are popular, fire sites can spoil the appearance of the land. Campfires must closely be watched to prevent them from spreading into surrounding grasses, brush, and trees. Find out ahead of time if the area where you want to camp permits the use of fires. Even when fires are allowed, a lightweight stove might be a better choice. Alright, so the first thought I have when it comes to like campfires is most young men have at least one or two boys that consider themselves pyromaniacs. They loved lighting fires. That type of like real ambition to like start fires and do fire type stuff really had to be curbed. I get why they're like putting restrictions on it. How to build a campfire. Make a safe fire site. A safe fire site is one on which nothing will burn except the fuel you feed the flames. It's a spot from which fire cannot spread. Many camping areas have metal fire rings, grills, or stone fireplaces. Use those existing fire sites whenever you can. Otherwise, select a spot on gravel, sand, or bare earth well away from trees, brush, and dry grasses. Look overhead for branches that sparks could ignite. Stay clear of boulders that could be blackened by smoke, or large tree roots that could be harmed by too much heat. Rake away pine needles, leaves, twigs, and anything else that might burn. Save the ground cover so that you can put it back when you are done with your fire. Keep a pot of water close by to douse the flames should they begin to spread. Bare ground fire site. When the ground is bare, haul enough mineral soil to the center of the cleared circle to make an earthen pad about 2 feet square and 3 inches thick. Kindle the fire on top of the pad, and the mineral soil will protect the ground from the heat. After you have properly extinguished the blaze and disposed of any unburned wood, crush the remaining ashes, mix them with mineral soil, and return it to the sites from which you borrowed it. Gather tinder, kindling, and fuel wood. Patience is the key ingredient for successfully building a fire. You will also need tinder, kindling, and fuel wood. Tinder catches fire easily and burns fast. Dry pine needles, grasses, shredded bark, and the fluff from some seed pods all make good tinder. So do wood shaving cuts from your pocket knife from a dead stick. Gather enough tinder to fill your hat once. Kindling. Dead twigs that are no thicker than a pencil are called kindling. Find enough to fill your hat twice. Fuel. Fuel wood can be as thin as your finger or as thick as your wrist. Use sticks you find on the ground and gather them from a wide area rather than removing all the downed wood from one spot. Lay the fire. There are many ways to arrange tinder, kindling, and fuel so that the heat of a single match can grow into flames of a campfire. A teepee fire lay is a good all-around method. 1. Place a big, loose handful of tinder in the middle of your fire site. 2. Mount plenty of small kindling over the tinder. 3. Arrange small and medium-sized sticks of fuel wood around the kindling as if they were the poles of a teepee, leaving an opening in the teepee on the side the wind is blowing against, so the air can reach the middle of the fire. 4. Ease a burning match under the tinder. The flame should rise through the tinder and crackle up into the kindling and the fuel wood above. Fuzz sticks can help get a fire going. Cut shavings into each stick, but leave them attached. Prop the fuzz sticks upright in among the kindling. Fireplaces. A fireplace holds your cook pots above the flames and allows air to reach the fire. 3-point fireplace. For a single pot or pan, stick 3 metal tent stakes into the ember. Wet weather fire tips. Before the rain begins, gather tinder and kindling for several fires and store it under your dining fly. Keep a supply of dry tinder in a plastic bag. Split wet sticks and logs with an axe. The wood inside should be dry. Keep matches safe from dampness by carrying them in a plastic container with a tight lid. A butane lighter will give you a flame in even the wettest weather. Store it away from heat. Putting out a campfire. Extinguish every fire when you no longer need it. Make sure it is cold out, cold enough so that you can run your hands through the ashes. Pour water on the embers. Stir the wet ashes with a stick and wet them again. Repeat until you can touch every part of the fire site with your bare hands. Cleaning a fire site. Clean a permanent fire site by picking out any bits of paper, foil, and unburnt food. Pack them home with the rest of your trash. If you made a new fire site, erase all evidence it was ever there. Scatter any rocks, turning their blackened sides toward the ground. Spread cold ashes over a wide area and toss away extra firewood. Replace any ground cover. When you're finished, the site should look just as it did when you found it. How to use lightweight stoves. A camp stove gives you a fast, easy way to do your cooking. It produces heat just right for warming a small cup of soup or cooking a big pot of pasta. A stove won't blacken rocks and cooking gear or scorch the soil. With a stove, you can camp where there is no firewood or where campsites are not allowed. Stoves work equally well in deserts, high mountains, and deep forests, and are ideal for use in storms and on snow. Many camping stoves burn commercial stove fuel or kerosene. Store these fuels in special metal bottles with lids that screw on tightly. Choose bright red bottles or mark them with colorful tape so there is no chance of mistaking them for water bottles. Butane and propane stoves burn gas from small cans called cartridges. Carry cartridges and fuel bottles in the outside pockets of your pack where gas fumes can't get near your food. When you're ready to cook, place your stove on a level surface free of leaves, sticks, and other burnable material. A patch of bare ground or a flat rock is all you need. During winter campouts, put your stove on a piece of plywood about 8 inches square. The plywood will hold your stove on top of the snow and prevent the cold ground from chilling the stove. Different kinds of stoves burn different fuels and operate in different ways. Read your stove's instructions carefully and follow them exactly. Stove safety rules. Use, refuel, and store stoves and lanterns only with the supervision of a knowledgeable adult and only where allowed. Operate and maintain stoves and lanterns according to the manufacturer's instructions. Store fuel in approved containers. Keep fuel containers well away from campfires, burning stoves, and all other sources of heat. Allow hot stoves and lanterns to cool completely before changing compression gas cartridges or refilling from containers of liquid fuel. Refill stoves and lanterns outdoors and a safe distance from any source of heat, including other stoves or campfires. Use cartridges or fuel expressly recommended for your stoves by the manufacturer. Use a funnel to pour liquid fuel into a stove or lantern. Recap the fuel container and the stove or lantern. Before lighting the device, wait until any spilled fuel has evaporated. Do not operate stoves or lanterns inside buildings with poor ventilation. Never fuel, light, or operate a gas stove or lantern inside a tent. snow, cave, or igloo. Place a stove on a level, secure surface before lighting. On snow, place the stove on a 6-inch square piece of plywood to insulate it from the cold and lessen its tendency to tip. Have stoves and lanterns checked periodically by knowledgeable adults to make sure that they are in top working condition. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for lighting a stove. Keep fuel containers and extra canisters well away. Keep your head and body to one side in case the stove flares up. Never leave a lightened stove or lantern unattended. Do not overload a stove with heavy pot or large frying pan. When cooking requires a pot capacity of more than 2 quarts, set up a separate grill with legs to hold the pot. Then place the stove under the grill. Carry empty fuel containers home for proper disposal. Do not place them in or near fires or in trash where that will be burned. Water. Drink plenty of fluid each day in cold weather as well as warm. Drink enough so that your urine remains clear, at least 2 quarts a day in normal conditions and up to 8 quarts during hard exertion in hot, dry climates. Bring the water from home or use the water from public supplies. Water collected from springs, lakes, or streams must be purified before use. Public supplies. Water from faucets and drinking fountains in campgrounds and scout camps usually has been tested by public health officials. It is almost always safe to use. Open water. Water taken from streams, lakes, and springs could contain bacteria and parasites too small for you to see. Disinfect any water that does not come from a tested source. Water from snow. On winter trips and hikes in high mountains, you can get your water from melting clean snow. Each time you sip from your water bottle, replace it with a handful of loose snow. Water remaining in the bottle will help melt the snow. In camp, gently heat a pot of snow over a stove or fire. A cup of water in the bottom of the pot will speed the process. How to purify water. Boiling. Bringing water to a rolling boil for a full minute or more will kill most organisms. Purification tablets. Water purification tablets are sold in small bottles just the right size for hikers and campers. The instructions on the label usually are to drop 1 or 2 tablets into a quart of water and then wait 30 minutes before drinking, longer if the water is cold. Purification tablets can lose their effectiveness after the bottle has been opened. Check the expiration date on the label and only use fresh tablets. The tablet might also leave a chemical taste in the water. To improve the flavor, add some flavored mix after the tablets have been had enough time to do their work. Filters. Camping stores and catalogs offer water purification filters that are effective and easy to operate. Some operate by pumping water through pores small enough to strain out bacteria. Others contain chemicals or carbon. Follow the instructions that come with the filter you plan to use. It's a good idea to carry a small bottle of water purification tablets too, in case your filter malfunctions. Using a water filter is one way. To be sure, backcountry water is safe to drink. Other methods include boiling it or treating it with tablets. Need a cooking notebook? Keep a cooking notebook. Camp cooking is a skill you can master by doing a lot of it. Write your food lists and recipes in a notebook each time you prepare for a campout. At the end of every trip, make notes about what worked well and what didn't. Perhaps you need a larger frying pan or more oatmeal, or maybe you took too much cocoa. As you plan your next outing, your notebook will remind you of changes you want to make. Planning your meals. Careful planning allows you to take enough food so that everyone in your patrol eats well, but there aren't many leftovers. You'll also know which pots, pans, and utensils to take along. Consider the following as you plan your outdoor meals. How many scouts are going, and how long will you be away from home? Fresh foods are fine for short outings. For trips longer than a day or two, carry supplies that won't spoil. What are you going to do? If your days will be packed with action, choose recipes that won't take long to prepare. When cooking will be at a high point of a campout, take the ingredients and gear needed to make a real feast. How will you reach camp? Backpackers will want to keep their loads light with simple meals of non-perishable ingredients. If you will be traveling by car to your campsite, you might want to take griddles, Dutch ovens, fresh and canned foods, and plenty of utensils. Just want to pause here for a moment. Some of the best food I've had is Dutch oven cobbler. A good peach cobbler from a Dutch oven. Oh, that's wonderful. What weather do you expect? Winter menus should contain more of the fats your body burns for heat. Take along soup mixes and hot drinks to warm you up. Summer meals can be lighter and should include plenty of fluids. Forms of camping food. Fresh. Fresh foods have the most flavor and nutrition of any camping menu ingredients. They can also be the heaviest. Some, such as fresh meats, must be kept cool until you're ready to cook them. While carrots, apples, hard sausage, and some cheeses might last longer, most fresh foods are best used on trips no longer than one-night campouts. Non-perishable. Pasta, beans, oatmeal, rice, flour, grains, and other food that won't spoil are common ingredients for both short-term and long-term camping. The amount of nutrients they provide is high. When stored in plastic bags, they take up a small amount of pack space. Dry/dehydrated. Much of the weight of many foods is water. Remove it, and the result is a selection of lightweight ingredients just right for campers. Most grocery stores carry powdered milk, instant cocoa, dehydrated potatoes, and either vegetables, soup mixes, and many other dried foods. Some camping stores sell entire camp meals that require only the addition of boiling water. Canned. Almost any food can be purchased in cans. The primary drawback is canned food is its heaviness, at least as much as fresh food, plus the weight of the cans. Campers must also carry empty cans home with them for recycling or proper disposal. Even so, sometimes a special ingredient, such as a can of pancakes for peaches for cobbler, can be worth every bit of effort it takes to get it to your camp. Avoid carrying glass containers. They are heavier than cans and might break. Retort pouches. Retort pouches are flexible packages of a wide variety of foods, and they require no refrigeration. The pouches are convenient for winter camping because they can be heated simply by dropping them in a pot of boiling water, and the contents can be eaten straight out of the pouch. The importance of good nutrition. The food you eat should do three things: build up your body and keep it in good repair. Protein and minerals are the body's building blocks. They are found in meat, fish, eggs, milk products, and in combination of grains. Provide the vitamins, minerals, fiber, and bulk that your body must have in order to stay healthy. You'll find plenty of nutrition in fruits and vegetables, and essential bulk and fiber in these and other foods. Serve as a source of energy for everything you do. There is fuel in everything you eat, especially breads, grains, fats, and oils. Many people choose not to eat certain foods because of family background, religious beliefs, or medical restrictions. Vegetarians, for example, avoid meat, but combinations of grains give them diets with plenty of protein. Don't pass up chances to try different kinds of meals. Eating new dishes is a fun way to learn about other parts of the country and about foreign customs. The 4 basic food groups. The following food groups are the foundations of a balanced diet that provide nutrition essential for good health. Milk group. Milk, cheese, ice cream, yogurt, 1 or more serving a day. Protein group. Meat, fish, poultry, lentils, beans, dried peas, 2 or more servings a day. Vegetable fruit group. Citrus fruits and tomatoes, at least 1 serving a day. Leafy greens and yellow vegetables, at least 1 serving a day. Other vegetables and fruits, 2 or more servings a day. Cereal grain groups. Bread, pasta, rice, oatmeal, and granola at every meal. All right, so this is a bit outdated. I feel like the food pyramid in these basic food groups has been found to be not what it's supposed to be. The idea that you're supposed to have bread, pasta, rice, oatmeal, that stuff at every meal, yeah, that's not what modern stuff will tell you. But I think, again, maybe that's controversial. People really don't have an idea what you should or shouldn't eat. Menus. Once you know how many meals you need, write down what you want to prepare and eat for each of those meals. The recipes in this chapter will give you some ideas. Other ideas might come from scouts in your patrol who have favorite family recipes that are different from the ones you are accustomed to eating at home. Shopping list. List every ingredient for each dish. Use the chart on page 261 to determine the amounts you will need for the number of people in your patrol. Don't forget such items as cooking oil, honey or sugar, and spices. Cost per person. Take your shopping list to a grocery store and write down the prices of the ingredients you plan to buy. Figure out each scout's share by adding up the cost, then dividing the sum by the number of scouts going on the outing. Size of servings. Food packages often list the amounts required for 1 or more servings. Outdoor activities build up big appetites, so lean toward more rather than less. The following chart lists the amount needed for 1 serving of each type of food. Use the chart to help you figure out how much of each food you will need. Oh wow. Okay, I'm not going to read all that, but as you can see, it's got vegetables and fruits, breads, rice and pasta, milk and cheese, meat, poultry, and fish. Yeah. Condiments and staples for camp cooking: salt and pepper, ketchup, mustard, relishes, a salad dressing, flour, honey or sugar, butter, margarine, and cooking fats, jam, jelly, syrup, peanut butter. Spice kit. Spices bring out the flavor of your cooking. Useful spices for camp cooking include salt, pepper, chili powder, thyme, oregano, garlic flakes, bay leaves, and cinnamon. Carry spices in small plastic containers or bags, then stow it in a stuffed sack. Use spices lightly. You can always add more, but you can't remove a spice if you use too much. Repackaging food. Lighten your load and save space by getting rid of excess store packaging. Measure only as much of each ingredient as you will need for one meal and put it in a plastic bag. Tape a label on each bag and write on it the name and amount of the ingredient inside. Place all the repackaged ingredients for each meal in a larger bag. Include the recipes too. When you reach camp, you will have in one place all the ingredients and instructions for every meal. Food storage. Protect your food from mice, raccoons, bears, and other animals by making a bear bag to hang from a tree. Put the food in a stuffed sack or clean trash bag and tie a rope or nylon cord to it with a clove hitch. Hoist the bag up out of the reach of animals, at least 12 feet off the ground in bear country and 8 or more feet away from the trunks of trees. To tie a clove hitch, see page 139. Menus with a minimum of perishable items will reduce the challenges of storing and protecting provisions. Plan a meal with fresh meats, cheese, eggs, dairy products, and other perishable foods only if you can keep them properly chilled and out of the reach of animals. Cooking kit. Before a campout, think about the meals you have planned and then figure out what pots, pans, and utensils you'll need for cooking and serving your food. By carrying only the kitchen gear you need, you can keep your load light and your camp simple. Many troops have cook kits made just for camping. The handles of frying pans might be removable and the pots might nest together for easy packing. While special cook kits are convenient, you can also find the cooking gear you need at garage sales and surplus stores. Cooking gear used over campfires will be blackened by soot. Some troops scrub off the soot after every use. Others clean the insides of their pots and pans, but don't worry about the blackened outside surfaces. Stowing a pot or pan in a plastic trash bag as you are breaking camp will keep the soot from rubbing onto anything else in your pack. Personal eating kit. Most camp meals can be eaten with simple, lightweight utensils. Take an unbreakable plate and bowl and spoon and a sturdy drinking cup. An insulated plastic mug keeps drinks and soup warm, and you won't burn your lips on the rim. For an easy way to keep your knife, fork, and spoon together, drill a hole in the handle of each one. Run a string through the tie. It also makes it easier to wash and dry them. Breakfast in camp. Get your day off to a strong start with a real quick stick to your ribs breakfast. Healthy foods won't take long to prepare. Here are some suggestions. All recipes are for one serving. Fruit. Fresh fruit. Apples, oranges, and bananas are available all year. Fresh peaches, melons, and berries are in the stores in the summer and fall. Dried fruit. Dried fruits, raisins, and banana chips are delicious just as they are, or you can soak them overnight or cook them with hot cereal. Canned fruit. Many kinds of fruit are available in small and medium-sized cans. Cereal. Hot cereal tastes great on chilly mornings. In the summer, you might prefer cold cereal or granola with milk. Avoid flakes and other forms of cereal that will be crushed in your pack. Oatmeal. For each serving, bring 1 cup of water to a boil. Add a pinch of salt, stir in a 1/4 cup of rolled oats, cover and cook until ready. For extra flavor, drop some raisins or chopped fruit into the boiling water. Serve oatmeal with milk, brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, or a spoonful of jam. Granola. Made of toasted oats, granola is terrific as an outdoor breakfast that doesn't require cooking. Different brands come mixed with nuts, raisins, dried fruit, and other good things. Try a bowl of granola with milk. By itself, granola also makes a tasty trail snack. Eggs. Boiled eggs. Gently lower eggs into boiling water with a spoon. Cook 5 minutes for soft-boiled, 10 minutes for hard-boiled. Cooling the eggs in cold water makes them easy to peel. Fried eggs. Heat a teaspoon of butter, margarine, or cooking oil in a pan. Carefully crack in 2 eggs for sunny side up. Fry them over low heat until the whites become firm. Flip them and cook a while longer if you like your eggs over easy. Scrambled eggs. Beat 2 eggs in a bowl. Add a pinch of salt and pepper. Heat a little butter, margarine, or cooking oil in a pan, then pour in the eggs and cook over low heat. Stir occasionally, scraping the bottom of the pan with a spatula. For variety, add shredded cheese and chopped vegetables such as onion, tomato, green pepper, and mushrooms to the eggs before you cook them. This is getting yummy. Bacon and ham. Fried bacon. Put bacon slices in a pan and cook over low heat, turning as needed. Fried ham. Heat a little cooking oil, butter, or margarine in a pan. Put in slices of pre-cooked ham and fry over low heat until the meat is lightly brown. Turn and fry the other side. Many breakfast foods can be cooked on a griddle over a camp stove. Breakfast from the griddle. Oh, this sounds great. I want to go camping and eat this food now. Pancakes. Flapjacks are a favorite treat on mornings when you aren't in a hurry to break camp. They are best cooked in a heavy frying pan or on a griddle. Follow the instructions on a box of pancake mix. For variety, add fresh berries, chopped fruit, or nuts to the batter. Some of my favorite have been apple pancakes. Heat the griddle or pan and grease it with a little cooking oil, butter, or margarine. If the griddle is hot enough, when a drop of water will dance on the surface. Pour in just enough batter to form each cake and fry over medium heat. When the edges begin to brown and bubbles break into the center of the pancake, turn it and fry the other side. Serve with butter, syrup, or jam. Homemade pancake mix. You can make your own pancake mix before leaving home by combining 1/2 cup of white flour, 1/2 cup powdered milk, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, a pinch of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. In camp, prepare the batter by stirring in 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, and 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. Breakfast drinks. Milk, cocoa, and fruit juices all go well with breakfast. Use fresh drinks, dried milk, cocoa mixes, or fruit juice powder. French toast. Beat together 2 eggs, a pinch of salt, and a 1/2 cup of milk. Add a dash of cinnamon. Dip both sides of a slice of bread in the egg mix and fry the bread as if it were a pancake. 2 eggs are enough for 4 to 6 slices of French toast. Serve with butter and syrup or jam. Lunch in camp. After a busy morning, you'll be more than ready for some lunch. You can make lunch right after breakfast and pack it along with you, or if you need to be near the camp kitchen, you might want to cook a hot meal at lunchtime. Sandwiches. An easy way to serve sandwiches is just lay out the bread and fillings on a sheet of plastic and let each scout build his own. Choose from peanut butter and jelly, cheese, luncheon meats, canned tuna or salmon, sliced tomatoes, hard-boiled eggs, pickles, and lettuce. Round out the meal with a glass of milk, a piece of fruit, and a few cookies. Hot dishes. A cup of soup will warm you on a chilly day. Make it from a can or a mix by following the instructions on the label. Try grilling a cheese sandwich by frying it on both sides in a little butter or margarine. If you have fresh foods, light a stove and fry a hamburger or boil some hot dogs. Backcountry lunch. On longer trips or when you don't want to carry fresh foods, rely on crackers, jelly or jam, hard cheese, salami, summer sausage, fruit, and small cans of chicken or tuna. Add powdered drink mix as a dessert for a lightweight meal that's full of nourishment. Supper in camp. A one-pot stew makes an easy evening meal. You can prepare a main dish of meat, poultry, or fish, add some vegetables, and bake some biscuits. A dessert and something to drink will round out a feast to remember. Many good recipes for camp supper follow. To make your planning easier, most of them are for one serving. Quick one-pot camp stew. It's hard to beat a one-pot stew for speedy outdoor cooking and hearty dining. With a few ingredients and a little imagination, you can make it in dozens of different ways. Just prepare and combine one item from each of the following lists. Where amounts are not listed below, use the single serving size chart on page 261. Spaghetti, macaroni, noodles, ramen noodles. Tuna fish, canned chicken, or tofu. Tofu, yeah, right. 3 ounces, or textured vegetable protein, 3 ounces. The only one that sounds good out of that is chicken. Gravy mix, 1 packet chicken, mushroom, onion, spaghetti sauce, 4 to 8 ounces, stroganoff sauce, 4 to 8 ounces, or tomato sauce, 8 ounces. Cooked vegetables, chopped cheese, chopped nuts, 1 handful. Okay. So if I was doing this, spaghetti, macaroni, or noodles, those all sound fine. I would not use ramen. I'd use canned chicken, And then I'd probably do a spaghetti sauce, a stroganoff sauce, tomato, like any of those are fine, and then some vegetables or some cheese. I would not do chopped nuts. The vegetables can be eaten separately from the stew or drained and stirred right into the pot. Season to taste. Add a beverage, some bread, and a dessert to round out the meal. Meat. Grilling. Kindle a fire and let the flames die down. Place a wire grill over the coals. Lay the meat on the grill and adjust it to hold the meat close enough to the coals for moderate cooking. Grill hamburgers 3 to 4 minutes on each side. A 1-inch thick steak needs about 8 to 10 minutes on each side. Cut into the center and be sure the meat is fully cooked. Frying. Heat a spoonful of cooking oil in a frying pan. Ease in hamburger patties, pork chops, or steak, and cook over coals on a stove. Be sure that the meat is fully cooked. Pork must always be very well done. Stew. For one serving, the quarter pound of beef cut into 1/4-inch cubes. Rub flour into them and fry until brown in a pot with a few spoonfuls of cooking oil. Add enough water to cover the meat. Put a lid on the pot and simmer for 30 minutes. Add a chopped onion, carrot, and potato and simmer for 30 minutes more. Season with salt and pepper. Chicken. Frying. Roll chicken pieces in flour. Fry in a few tablespoons of cooking oil until golden brown. Slowly add a half cup of water, cover with a lid, and steam over low heat for about 20 minutes. Broiling. Lay pieces of chicken on a wire grill. Cook over coals for 15 minutes on each side. Keep the chicken moist as it broils by brushing it with butter, margarine, or barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce. Fish. When you've had some luck with your fishing pole, there are plenty of ways to turn your catch into dinner. First, clean each fish by slitting open the belly and pulling out the guts. If you want to remove the scales, scrape the skin with a knife from the tail toward the head. Burn the entrails or carry them home in a trash bag. Rinse the water with with water inside and out. Frying. Roll each piece of fish in flour or cornmeal. Fry in a few spoonfuls of cooking oil until golden brown, turning the fish once. It won't take long. Poaching. Drop fish into salted boiling water. Simmer gently until the flesh can be picked from the bones. I feel like fish, you need to listen to Jim Gaffigan talk about seafood. Everybody loves butter. All right. Side dishes. Vegetables. Boiled vegetables. For fresh vegetables, choose from among these single servings. 1 or 2 medium carrots, 2 ears of corn, 1/4 head of cabbage, or 1/4 cup of string beans or shelled peas. Cover with water and simmer over low heat. Carrots cook in 25 minutes, corn on the cob in 6 to 10 minutes, cabbage in 7 minutes, string beans in 30 minutes, and peas in 10 minutes. At high elevations, add a few minutes to each cooking time. Canned vegetables are already cooked. Pour them into a pan and heat them in their own liquid. Boiled potatoes. Wash a couple of medium-sized potatoes, then peel them or leave the skins on for the vitamins and minerals they contain. Cut the potatoes into cubes and boil gently in a pot of water for about 20 minutes. Test with a fork. If it goes in easily, the potatoes are done. Drain, season, and salt and pepper, and serve with a little butter or margarine. All right, when we're talking about potatoes, you got to think of Lord of the Rings. You got to think of Sam, potatoes. Mash them, fry them, stick them in a stew. Oh, excellent. Fried potatoes. Boil several potatoes for about 10 minutes and let them cool. Slice the cold potatoes and fry in hot oil until they are brown. For extra flavor, fry a chopped onion with the potatoes. Season with salt and pepper. Mashed potatoes. Boil 2 or 3 potatoes. Drain off the water and mash the potatoes. Add a spoonful of butter, margarine, and a dash of salt. For smoother potatoes, stir in 2 tablespoons of milk. Pasta and rice. Spaghetti. Bring a large pot of water to a boil. Add a tablespoon of cooking oil, butter or margarine if you have it. Then drop in 4 ounces of spaghetti. Boil for 5 to 10 minutes until tender. Drain and serve with spaghetti sauce. Macaroni. For each serving, stir in 4 ounces of macaroni into a pot of boiling water. Boil for 10 to 15 minutes until done. Then drain the water. Stir 2 ounces of cut up cheese, 1 teaspoon of powdered milk, and a spoonful of margarine, butter, or olive oil into the cooked macaroni to make macaroni and cheese. Salt to taste. Ramen noodles. Ramen style noodles come in a 3-ounce package, just right for a single serving. Before you open the package, crush the noodles into small pieces. Tear open the wrapper and pour the noodles into 1.5 cups of boiling water. Remove from heat and let stand 5 minutes until done. How to drain pasta. Draining boiling water from a patrol's pot of pasta can be awkward in the field. Here are several ways to get the job done. 1. Use a slotted spoon to dip the pasta out of the water. Bring a colander from home. Hold the colander over the camp pot. Carefully pour the water through so the colander catches the pasta but allows the water to go into the sump holes. For more on those holes, see page 283. Protecting your hands with hot pads. Place the pot on the ground beside the camp sump hole. As one scout tips the pot, the other holds the lid in such a way that the water spills over but the pasta stays behind. Keep your face and hands away from steam rising from the pot, and don't rush. I don't know if I've ever actually eaten spaghetti on campouts. I've done ramen before, and I've done macaroni and cheese, but I can't ever remember doing spaghetti. Rice. Both white and brown rice are rich in minerals and fiber. For one serving, pour a half cup of uncooked rice and 1 cup of cold water into a pot. Cover with a lid and bring to a boil. Reduce heat and simmer until done. About 10 minutes for white rice, 30 minutes for brown rice. There's no need to stir rice while it's cooking. Bread. Biscuits. Follow the directions on the package for mixing a half cup of biscuit mix. Shape the dough into 3 or 4 biscuits about 1/2 inch thick. Place them on a greased pan and bake for 10 to 15 minutes in a stovetop oven or a reflector oven. Test by pushing a matchstick or wood shaving into a biscuit. The biscuits are done when the wood comes out clean. Homemade biscuit mix. Prepare your own biscuit mix at home by stirring together 1 cup of flour, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. When you're ready to make biscuits, add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil and just enough water or milk to keep the dough together but not make it too sticky. Dutch oven bread. Prepare enough mix for 8 biscuits. Use a shovel to move a scoop of coals to the side of the fire. Then place the empty oven on them and let it warm. Arrange the unbaked biscuits in the oven. Replace the lid and shovel coals on top. 3 times as many coals on the lid as underneath the oven. Check after about 10 minutes when the biscuits should be ready. Gloves and hot pot tongs make it easier to handle a hot oven. Dutch ovens. A Dutch oven is a heavy lidded pot that's perfect for baking bread, cobblers, and pies, as well as cooking stews and beans. When made of iron, the oven must be seasoned before its first use. Warm the oven and drop in a dab of butter or grease. Then use a paper towel to spread it all over the inside of the oven. Treat the inside of the lid in the same way. The metal will be protected from rust, and foods you prepare are less likely to stick. Soap strips away the grease, so it is best to wash a Dutch oven in hot water only. Reseason your oven whenever it has been scrubbed with soap. Stovetop oven bread. Ovens for use with backpacking stoves are available at camp supply stores. Use them as you would an oven at home, keeping your stove flame low to allow for gentle baking. Frying pan bread. Almost any bread or biscuit recipe can be cooked in a greased frying pan. Flatten the dough into a large pancake and fry it over the fire. A lid will hold in the heat. Turn the bread with a spatula to allow both sides to brown. The trick is to cook the dough slowly enough for the center to become done before the crust is too brown. Dumplings. Another speedy way to fix bread is to drop small spoonfuls of biscuit dough right onto the top of a one-pot stew. Cover and let steam for about 10 minutes to make mouth-watering dumplings. Don't lift the lid until the dumplings are done. Desserts. Fruit or cookies finish off a meal nicely. Pudding mixes come in many flavors, and instant pudding requires no cooking. Cobbler, brownies, and other baked desserts are always a treat in camp. For me personally, cobbler is the, gold standard. If you're going to go camping, it's all about having cobbler. Philmont Ranger Cobbler. The Dutch oven peach cobbler, often baked by rangers at Philmont Scout Ranch, make enough hot, tasty desserts for an entire patrol. You will need the following ingredients: 2 16-ounce cans of sliced peaches in heavy syrup, 2 cups of biscuit mix, a half cup of sugar, half teaspoons cinnamon. Preheat a Dutch oven over a bed of coals. Gently pour into the oven 1 can of peaches and syrup. Drain the syrup from the second can into the first can and save it. Place the peaches from the second can into the oven. Sprinkle a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon over the fruit. Combine the biscuit mix with the sugar, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and enough of the reserved syrup to make a soft dough. Layer the dough mixture over the fruit in the oven. Place the lid on the oven, cover it with the coals, and bake until dough is golden brown. Oh my gosh. I want to go make some Dutch oven peach cobbler now. Oh, aluminum foil. I hated this. This is the worst. Cooking in aluminum foil. Want to leave the pots and pans at home? Then give aluminum foil cooking a try. Simply wrap food in a piece of heavy-duty foil and fold over the edges so the steam can't escape. Place the foil package on a bed of coals and turn it several times during the cooking. When you unwrap your dinner, you can eat right out of the foil. Foil cooking is possible because aluminum doesn't burn. That also means that you will want to carry used foil home for recycling or disposal. Since most ingredients are fresh, foil meals are most appropriate for scout cookouts or the first meal of a campout. Hamburger. Shape 4 ounces of hamburger into patty, cut a medium-sized potato and carrot into thin strips, peel and slice a small onion, arrange all the ingredients on a square of foil and sprinkle lightly with salt. Close the foil, lay the package on the coals, and cook for about 15 minutes. Stew. Cut 4 ounces of beef or lamb into cubes. Thinly slice a potato, carrot, and small onion and arrange the slices on the foil. Sprinkle with salt. Add several tablespoons of water and fold up the foil. Cook on the coals for about 20 minutes. Chicken. Smear chicken pieces with butter or margarine. Salt lightly and wrap each into a separate piece of foil. Turn them several times as they cook over the coals for about 20 minutes. Potato. Pierce the skin of a potato in several places, then wrap in foil. Bury it in the coals for about 30 or 40 minutes. Corn on the cob. Dab butter or margarine on an ear of a corn, wrap it in foil, and roast for 10 minutes on the coals. Fish. Wrap fresh fish by itself in foil or along with some finely chopped onion and lemon. Bake on the coals about 3 minutes per side for a small fish, 10 minutes or more on each side for a whopper. Fruit. Cut the core out of a raw apple and replace it with a pat of butter, a few raisins, some cinnamon, and a teaspoon of brown sugar. Wrap in foil and bake for 30 minutes. Cooking without utensils. The secret to cooking a meal without pots, pans, or foil is a good bed of hot coals. Roast potatoes. Coat the potato with a thick layer of mud and bury it in the coals. Bake 30 to 40 minutes. The mud will become caked and hard, but the potato inside should come out just right. Roast corn. Open the husk and remove the thread like silk. Reclose the husks, dip the ears in water, then place them on the coals. Roast about 8 minutes, turning them often as they cook. Broiled steak. Find a long green forked stick. Trim off any leaves and twigs. Bend the branches of the fork into the shape of a tennis racket and twist the branches around each other to hold them in place, forming the frame of your broiler. Weave green sticks across the broiler frame. Lay a steak on them and hold it down with more sticks anchored to the broiler. You can also use the broiler to toast slices of bread. Oh, kebab. Yum, these are good. Start with 1-inch cubes of beef, lamb, or ham. Add mushrooms and chunks of tomato, onion, green pepper, pineapple, or zucchini. Slide the pieces onto a thin green stick and broil them a few inches above the coals for 10 to 15 minutes, turning slowly. Marinating the meat in Italian dressing for several hours before cooking will tenderize the meat and add flavor. Fish. Run a sharp kebab stick into the fresh flesh along the length of the spine of a small trout, or tie the fish to the stick with several wraps of sturdy string. Hold it over the coals and cook for a few minutes. The fins and skin will pull off, leaving the tender meat beneath. Chicken. Skewer a small whole chicken onto a sturdy green stick about 3 feet long. Tie the legs together with cord and rub the skin with butter or margarine. Rest the ends of the stick on the rocks or logs on either side of the coals. Turn the stick occasionally so that the chicken will brown evenly. Allow about 1 hour of cooking time. Bread twist. Roll stiff biscuit dough into the shape of a long sausage. Find a clean stick as thick as an axe handle and twist the dough around it. Lean the stick over a bed of coals and turn occasionally until baking is done. Bread cup. Instead of twisting the dough around a stick, mold it onto the end of your stick. Then bake it over the coals. Slip it off a bread cup and you can stuff with sandwich fillings. Sharing kitchen duties. When you're using the buddy system, both of you can pitch in and help with all the cooking and cleanup. Or one can act as cook while the other cares for the stove or fire, brings in water, and washes the pots. Switch jobs at every meal so you each have a chance to do everything. In larger groups, write down a duty roster. A third of the group cooks, a third gathers water and firewood, or tends to the stove or fire, and the rest do the cleanup. During a one-night campout, each scout can have the same job for all the meals and then move to a new spot on the roster for the next outing. Cleaning up after meals. Dealing with leftovers. Carry food scraps home in a trash bag or burn them in a hot campfire by adding them to the flames a little at a time. You can burn waste paper too, but don't put plastic bags into a fire. Burning plastic can release toxic gases into the air. Don't bury leftover food or scatter it in the woods. Animals will almost always find it, and it is not healthy for them to eat. Food scraps can also draw animals close to campsites where they might lose their fear of humans. That can be dangerous for them and for you. Wash out jars and cans and carry them home for recycling. Save space for cutting out the ends of cans and then flattening them. Dishwashing. Whether you cook with a stove or over an open fire, put on a pot of water before you serve a meal. That way, you'll have a hot dishwasher by the time you finish eating. Begin cleanup by setting out 3 pots. Wash pot contains hot water with a few drops of biodegradable soap. Cold rinse pot, cold water with a sanitizing tablet or a few drops of bleach to kill bacteria. And then hot rinse pot, clear hot water. Each scout can wash his own eating gear. If each scout also does one pot, pan, or cooking utensil, the work will be finished in no time at all. Wipe plates first to keep the dishwater as clean as possible. Use hot pot tongs to dip utensils in the hot rinse when you're sure no soap is left on them. Lay the washed items on a plastic ground cloth and let them air dry. Before cooking over a wood fire, smear a film of liquid biodegradable soap on the outside of your pots. Soot will wash off more easily. Dishwasher disposal. During campouts lasting no more than a couple of days, strain any food bits out of your dishwater and put them in your trash. Carry the wash and rinse water away from camp at least 75 steps away from any streams or lakes. Give it a good fling, spreading it over a wide area. For longer stays at one site, dig a sump hole at the edge of camp at least 75 steps from streams, lakes, or other open water. It should be about 1 foot across and 2 feet deep. Place a piece of window screen across it and pour water and rinse water into the sump through the screen. The screen will catch food particles so that you can shake them into a fire or trash bag. Fill the sump hole when you break camp and replace any ground cover. You can also make a strainer by punching small holes in a plastic bag and filling it with pine needles. Pour dirty dishwater through the bags and the needles will strain out food particles. Carry the bag of needles out of the backcountry with the rest of your trash. All right, I feel like this is all very good for the environment. However, I would be shocked if more than like a handful of people ever did this. Like going out of your way that way to through some. I would imagine most food just got thrown on the ground, just expected to be thrown out. That would probably be what most people did. Keep soap and detergent away from open water. Many soaps, detergents, and shampoos contain chemicals that encourage algae to grow. Algae can crowd out native plants, make it harder for fish and other animals to survive. Soap and detergent can also leave an oily film in the water that can harm tiny aquatic life. Never put anything in the water that you wouldn't be willing to drink as it floats away. All right, that is it for this chapter and even this whole section. We're done with cooking. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share your thoughts. What were some of your favorite meals? Do you have a favorite recipe? A favorite experience cooking? Is there something that you always had to have? Is there something that was the worst thing that you ever had? Feel free to comment below and share your thoughts. All right, happy scouting, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.